Welcome to Illuminati Silver. We tell you the truth about silver. Today is Wednesday, the 23rd of October, 2019. And today we have produced two video podcasts. This one is on the question of a Brexit update. And the second, which will be published in a couple of hours, is on the subject of gold. So please do not miss the second video out later. So the House of Commons met last Saturday with a view to voting on the government's New Deal with the EU. And the day took an unpredictable twist, and a number of things have happened since then. Today we've placed a 20-minute podcast discussion between Journo Marcus and controversially Greg within the Inner Sanctum and on Discord. So if you are a bronze or silver member, you can listen to that very informative and in-depth debate. Meanwhile, we have controversially Greg with us, who is going to give us just a 5-minute update as to where we are and what we should look out for. And while we do this, please bear in mind that gold has edged up a little because of this uncertainty. And traders are admitting that they are sitting on the sidelines until they know exactly what is going on with Brexit. So let's get on with the interview with controversially Greg. Greg, good morning.
Good morning, Richard.
Now, please tell us briefly what you and Marcus discussed in your 20-minute topic, just very briefly, and what has happened since then.
Our 20-minute topic, which we normally do on a Friday or Saturday for publication on a Sunday, we felt that so much was happening on the Saturday that it just wasn't, with the additional sitting of the House of Commons, that it would be foolish to produce it on before we had heard the outcome. Net result, we actually recorded it on Monday, but that did not allow for the shenanigans in Parliament that occurred on Tuesday. So to bring you up to date, firstly, listen to our 20-minute broadcast, Brexit Betrayal. It's number 18, available on the normal platforms, including this one. And once you've listened to that, here is the quick infill for what happened yesterday. Yesterday, Boris Johnson finally, after much debate in the House of Commons, managed to get his position agreed by Parliament, namely that the agreement with the European Union that he had negotiated, despite the fact that many in Parliament said he'd never be able to, many of the pundits said he'd never be able to, they said he wouldn't be able to reopen the negotiations. He did. They said he wouldn't be able to negotiate terms, better terms than Theresa May had got. He did. They said that he would betray Northern Ireland. He did not. He put in the best agreement that they've had to date, other than for them to join ERA, Southern Ireland, which would be catastrophic for the people of Northern Ireland. This is the very best that can be managed. It gives them the opportunity, at their own discretion, to remain as a part of the common customs area. However, anything that comes in from the European Union to Northern Ireland will be subject to not coming across the Irish Sea, and anything from Britain that crosses the Irish Sea will not be allowed to go into the European Union. Which seems entirely reasonable. The vote was put, and he won by a majority of 30 votes, which was quite astonishing, until you start to work out where those 30 votes came from. 19 of them came from members of the Labour Party. Now, I appreciate there are a very few members of the Labour Party who are acting with integrity. People like Caroline Flint, who was one time Europe Minister for the Labour Party, has spoken continuously, made it very clear that she voted for Remain, but she had given an undertaking to represent the majority view, and that the majority of the peoples of these United Kingdoms wished to leave the European Union. And she has been actively campaigning for Brexit to occur on the terms, the best terms that were actually available, rather than the cloud cuckoo land that people like Jeremy Corbyn and his fanatic followers, who have fallen into a trap of socialist, quasi-communist ideology. Some of those 19 who voted with the government were actually voting utterly cynically. They were voting to empower the bill so they could say, look, we signed it, with the intention of introducing amendment after amendment after amendment to make sure that it stood no chance of survival. It would be so altered, it would bear no recognition, and it would not be the agreement that the European Union had agreed to. We found this out when the timetable bill was put to the vote, whereby Johnson would have been able to get Brexit established, albeit on negotiated terms, where, yes, there were compromises on both sides, as in any negotiation. He would have been able to get it through the House of Commons, the House of Lords, its various committee stages, by all-day sittings, and if need be, well into the night, so that it would be a Brexit on October the 31st. However, this timetable bill was soundly rejected by the House of Commons, giving the lie to the fact that they had voted so that they could tell their electorate that they had voted in favour of the bill, but it was only the timetable they didn't like. They have actually voted in favour of the bill quite cynically, with the intention of sabotaging their own vote, which was only made for show, by voting down the timetable. This means that the bill is currently dead in the water. There was much discussion as to whether it was in limbo, or had been temporarily suspended, or had been withdrawn, but in real terms, the bill cannot go ahead by the 31st of October. Johnson has submitted the letter that Parliament ordered him to submit under the Benn Sabotage Act. He is now also subject to Oliver Letwin's Wrecking Act, both of which were passed through the House, and he has submitted a letter unsigned by himself because he personally does not agree with it, and he has passed on Parliament's majority request, which is not the request of the people of Britain, it is the request of the self-serving parliamentarians. He's passed it on to the European Union without his signature. He has also passed on with it a letter signed by him saying that his government was not in favour of an extension of time. It's now, the ball is largely in the European court as to whether they act with Parliament against the wishes of the British people, or support Boris Johnson as our Prime Minister, who is representing the people. The whole damn thing is up in the air all again, due to this selfish behaviour and corrupt voting of the parliamentarians. They have shown themselves to be utterly duplicitous.
So, Greg, this basically means that Brexit will not occur on the 31st of October. and they're awaiting now an extension from the EU, which is likely to happen. Is that correct?
I think it's likely to happen. There is some hope that one of the countries will reject an extension, which would mean that we would probably find ourselves in a position of technical extension as opposed to full extension. And that means that it would be an extension of 10 to 15 days, during which time the Labour voters and the like who voted in favour of the bill but against the timetable would find themselves hoisted by their own petard, in that they wouldn't be able to put forward the amendments. They would run out of speakers because they really have very few facts to go on. Just a lot of rhetoric. What one has to remember here is that Corbyn is now terrified there will be an election because he's terrified of winning it. Corbyn never was Prime Minister material. He's an unreformed, old school socialist, neo-communist. His aim is not to gain the premiership, and some of his cronies around him think likewise, and virtually everybody knows he's not competent to do the job. But what he does desperately want to do is destroy what he sees as Thatcherite Conservative Party. He is on a wrecking movement, and he is also an old man in a hurry. So he will do anything, regardless of the damage it does in terms of collateral damage to his own people. Don't forget, a very big majority of Labour voters voted for Brexit. People of Wales, for instance, the people of the northeast, the people of the northern, weaker economic areas voted overwhelmingly for Brexit. They are tribally have been historically Labour voters. So he has betrayed his own people.
Well, Greg, thank you very much. So no Brexit on the 31st of October. It might only be delayed up to about 15 days, but there again, it may be delayed longer. That's the bottom line, yes?
Correct.
Greg, I know you have to go.
Informed.
Sorry?
We'll keep you up to date and we'll keep you informed.
Wonderful. Greg, thank you so much. Really appreciate the update.
Pleasure.
So, there we have it. More delays and a potential extension. Needless to say, we shall keep you up to date with developments, as they are important. At this moment, gold is currently standing at $1,494, up $4 since its opening on Monday, when frankly we were expecting it to go down, which it did initially, down to $14.77. And silver is up 5 cents at $17.59. As we pointed out in our weekly update, next week will be the more exciting one. But meanwhile, all eyes are on Brexit and how that will impact sterling, the dollar, and global trade. Sterling has fallen slightly since the weekend, and the dollar is currently 1.29 to the pound. And the dollar index has strengthened slightly to 97.5, so all of these shenanigans do have an effect. If you wish to obtain more details on the Brexit situation, then please go to our inner sanctum at illuminatisilver.com and click on either the premium video section or Journo Marcus, or head towards the inner sanctum section of our Discord channel. Meanwhile, please also stay tuned today to our second podcast video being published on YouTube in a couple of hours. And finally, we would appreciate it if you're not already a subscriber to Illuminati Silver, that you click on the subscribe button and press the bell sign so that you are notified when future videos are published. And if you haven't already done so, please go to illuminatisilver.com and sign up either as a free or paying subscriber member. Thank you for listening. We hope you have found this video interesting and informative, and if so, please give it a thumbs up and share it on social media. Please ensure that you have subscribed to our channel and press the bell sign so that you are notified of any future videos. Also, kindly visit our website at illuminatisilver.com. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe either as a free or paying member for regular email updates and offers. Disclaimer. Illuminati Silver owners come from a background of banking, international wealth management and economics. Having now retired from these worlds, we are not qualified to give investment advice. Therefore, this and other productions must not be deemed to be giving such advice and merely represent the personal views of its owners.